The alien captain came to Earth for repairs, nothing more. His ship was dying, his reactor was failing, and humanity seemed completely harmless. Then the invasion started. Entire star systems disappeared, military fleets were wiped out. And somehow, the humans weren't afraid. They upgraded his ship. They handed his crew coffee and quietly prepared for war. But when the enemy finally reached Earth, the galaxy discovered a terrifying truth. Humanity had been hiding something powerful enough to change the fate of the entire galaxy, and the empire that came to conquer Earth was about to make the biggest mistake in its history. The stars had never felt so cold. Captain Valan stood on the bridge of the exploration cruiser Silver Horizon, staring at the warning lights that covered every console like a spreading infection. The ship had crossed nearly half the Orion Arm collecting data for the Galactic Coalition, but now its journey was ending, not in glory, but in failure. "Status report," Valan said. Chief Engineer Cora looked exhausted. 3 sleepless cycles had left dark circles beneath her silver eyes. "Our primary reactor is losing containment efficiency, 37% and dropping. Life support reserves are stable for now, but the jump drive is finished." Silence filled the bridge. Everyone understood what that meant. Without a jump drive, they would never reach Coalition space. The nearest friendly outpost was almost 300 light-years away. They were stranded. "Any nearby civilizations?" Valan asked. Navigation Officer Rin hesitated. "There is one." The central display shifted. A small blue world appeared. Designation, Salmonus 3. Local name, Earth. Several officers exchanged uneasy glances. Humans. The species had become something of a legend across the galaxy. Nobody quite knew what to think about them. Their technology wasn't considered revolutionary. Their military wasn't the largest. Their territory wasn't particularly impressive. Yet somehow, every species that encountered humanity came away with stories. Strange stories. Stories involving impossible engineering projects, dangerous levels of optimism, and beverages that humans insisted solved nearly every problem. Valan folded his arms. Reputation, Rin pulled up the Coalition files. Officially, friendly, cooperative, highly adaptable. And unofficially, the officer sighed, they're considered unpredictable. Several bridge crew members groaned. That was never a comforting description. "How unpredictable?" Valan asked. Rin scrolled further. One report states that humans accidentally turned a mining vessel into a warship because they got bored during a long voyage. "Accidentally?" "Yes, Captain." Another file appeared. A human engineering team once repaired a damaged transport using farm equipment, kitchen appliances, and something called duct tape. "What's duct tape?" "No one knows." The bridge became even quieter. Captain Valan rubbed his forehead. Every instinct told him to avoid Earth entirely. Unfortunately, they didn't have a choice. "Set course." The crew looked surprised. "You're serious?" Cora asked. "We either trust the humans or drift until our reactor dies." No one argued after that. Hours later, the Silver Horizon entered the Sol system. Almost immediately, a transmission arrived. The screen flickered. A smiling human appeared. "Welcome to Earth. This is Dockmaster Emily Rodriguez of Orbital Station Harmony. You folks look like you've had a rough trip." The human's cheerful tone felt almost suspicious. Valan straightened. "Our vessel requires emergency repairs." Emily nodded instantly. "No problem. "No problem, sure. You haven't even reviewed our damage reports." The human grinned. "We'll figure it out when you get here." The bridge crew exchanged nervous looks. That answer inspired absolutely zero confidence. Then Emily added something even stranger. "Oh, and don't worry." "About what?" "The coffee's already brewing." The transmission ended. Nobody on the bridge moved. Finally, Cora spoke. "I have no idea what coffee is." Valan stared at Earth growing larger on the view screen. "Neither do I." Far below, the blue planet rotated peacefully. None of them realized that this emergency stop would soon change the balance of power across the entire galaxy. And none of them suspected that Earth wasn't simply preparing to repair their ship. Humanity was preparing for war. Captain Valan had expected chaos. Instead, he found organization hidden beneath what appeared to be complete madness. As the Silver Horizon approached Orbital Station Harmony, dozens of vessels surrounded the massive structure. Cargo freighters, mining ships, civilian transports, military patrol craft, and repair tugs moved in every direction. Yet somehow, nothing collided. The station itself was enormous. Several rotating rings circled a central hub nearly 10 kilometers long. Construction platforms extended from every side, where humans appeared to be building ships at a pace that seemed impossible. Chief Engineer Cora stared through the observation window. "How many workers are out there?" "According to sensors," Rin replied, "nearly 30,000. Cora blinked. 30,000? Apparently humans don't believe in small repair teams. The docking clamps locked onto the silver horizon with a loud metallic thud. A moment later, the airlock opened. 5 humans entered. None wore military uniforms. None carried weapons. All of them carried cups filled with a dark liquid. Captain Valen immediately recognized the substance from the transmission. Coffee. The lead human stepped forward with a grin. "Welcome to Earth." He extended a hand. "I'm Marcus, senior engineer." Valen cautiously shook it. Marcus looked around the damaged bridge. "Wow." That single word did not inspire confidence. Marcus pointed toward a damaged console. "How is this still working?" Cora frowned. "It isn't." Marcus nodded. "Fair." Then he pointed toward another system. "And that? Also broken." Marcus looked impressed. "And you're still flying?" Nobody answered. The engineer laughed. "I like you people already." Within minutes, hundreds of human technicians flooded the ship. The alien crew watched in disbelief. Humans crawled through maintenance shafts. Humans carried equipment larger than themselves. Humans argued with each other constantly. Yet despite the apparent chaos, progress happened at incredible speed. Systems that had been dead for months suddenly came online. Power efficiency increased. Life support fluctuations vanished. Even damaged hull sections were being replaced. 3 days later, Cora reviewed the repair reports. Her jaw nearly hit the floor. "This can't be right." Valen looked over her shoulder. "What?" "They fixed everything." "Good." "No, Captain. You don't understand." She pointed at the numbers. "The reactor is operating 20% above factory specifications." Valen stared. "That's impossible." "It should be." Before either could continue, another alert appeared. Weapon systems. The silver horizon had never possessed heavy weapons. Now sensor logs showed multiple new installations. Cora looked horrified. "They added weapons." "What kind?" "I don't know." "Can you remove them?" The engineer hesitated. "Possibly." Neither of them noticed Marcus standing behind them. "I wouldn't recommend that." The 2 aliens nearly jumped. Marcus sipped his coffee. "Trust me, you'll want those." Valen crossed his arms. Why would an exploration vessel need military upgrades? For the first time since arriving, Marcus's smile disappeared. The room became strangely quiet. "Because," the human said softly, "something ugly is moving through this region of space." Neither alien liked the sound of that. "What exactly are you talking about?" Valen asked. Marcus activated a holographic display. Several star systems appeared. Then entire sections turned red. Dozens of worlds, hundreds of colonies. Gone. The bridge fell silent. "Those systems stopped responding 6 months ago," Marcus explained. "The coalition says pirate activity." Marcus laughed bitterly. "No pirate fleet can do this." A new image appeared. It showed a destroyed battleship drifting through space. Its hull had been torn apart as though a giant predator had attacked it. "What did that?" Cora whispered. Marcus looked directly at them. "We don't know." That answer frightened Valen more than anything else, because humans always seemed to know something, if humanity was worried. Then the galaxy should be terrified. Far beyond the edge of known space, something was coming. And for the first time, Captain Valen began to suspect that Earth wasn't building ships this quickly for economic reasons. Earth was preparing for a war that everyone else didn't even know existed. For the next week, the crew of the Silver Horizon watched humanity work. The repairs were finished. Then the upgrades were finished. Then, somehow, the humans continued upgrading the ship anyway. Captain Valen had stopped asking questions. Every time he did, the answers only created more questions. One morning, Marcus arrived carrying 6 cups of coffee. The human handed them around as if distributing military equipment. "Today," Marcus announced, "you're coming with me." "Where?" Valen asked. Marcus smiled. "You'll see." That answer never ended well. Hours later, a shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. The alien crew stared through the windows. Massive cities stretched across continents. Orbital elevators reached into the sky. Gigantic shipyards floated above oceans. Everything looked far more advanced than coalition intelligence reports had suggested. Your technology level was listed as moderate, Rin said. Marcus nearly choked on his coffee. We may have underestimated ourselves on the paperwork. Valen frowned. By how much? Marcus pointed outside. A little. The shuttle eventually reached a remote mountain range. There was nothing there, just rock, snow, silence. Then the mountain opened. Entire sections of stone moved aside. The alien crew froze. Beneath the mountain lay one of the largest facilities they had ever seen. Miles of underground construction docks stretched beyond sight. Thousands of warships filled enormous caverns. Battleships, carriers, dreadnoughts, entire fleets. The crew stared in disbelief. By the stars, Cora whispered. Marcus looked almost embarrassed. Yeah, you said Earth wasn't a military power. We aren't. Valen pointed at the countless warships. Then what are those? Insurance. The aliens simply stared at him. Inside the facility, construction never stopped. Robots moved materials. Engineers supervised assembly lines. Entire vessels were being built every few hours. The scale was beyond comprehension. What exactly are you preparing for? Valen asked. This time Marcus didn't joke. He activated a holographic display. The image showed dozens of destroyed star systems, then hundreds, then thousands. The room became silent. A red region expanded across the map like a spreading disease. The Void Dominion, Marcus said. The name alone sounded wrong, ancient, predatory, dangerous. They aren't an empire, Marcus continued. They aren't pirates. They aren't raiders. What are they? Marcus looked at the map. Survivors. The aliens exchanged confused looks. Marcus enlarged another image. It showed a species nobody recognized. Towering creatures covered in black armor. Living war machines. The Void Dominion lost their home galaxy thousands of years ago. Lost it how? Valen asked. No one knows. The humans' expression darkened, but they swore it would never happen again. The next image appeared, a burning planet, then another, then another. They conquer everything they find, Marcus said. If a civilization joins them, it survives. And if they refuse? Marcus didn't answer. He didn't need to. The images already had. The room remained silent for several moments. Finally, Cora spoke. How long until they reach coalition space? Marcus looked directly at her. 3 months. The crew felt their blood run cold. 3 months. An enemy capable of erasing entire civilizations was only 3 months away. And the coalition knows, Marcus nodded. They know something is happening. Then why isn't anyone mobilizing? Marcus laughed. It wasn't a happy laugh, because most governments still think someone else will handle it. Valen looked around the massive underground fleet. Then realization struck. Humanity wasn't waiting for someone else. Humanity was preparing to stand alone if necessary. At that exact moment, warning alarms suddenly echoed throughout the facility. Every screen flashed red. Engineers stopped working. Soldiers ran toward command centers. Marcus immediately turned serious. What happened? Valen asked. A nearby officer answered. Long-range sensors detected a fleet. How large? The officer swallowed hard. Then he gave the answer nobody wanted to hear. Over 10,000 unidentified warships have just entered the outer edge of the Sol system. For the first time since arriving on Earth, Captain Valen saw genuine fear in human eyes. The war had arrived far sooner than anyone expected. The alarm sirens echoed across the underground facility. Every screen displayed the same terrifying image, a wall of red contacts, thousands upon thousands of hostile ships. The Void Dominion had arrived, 3 months early. Captain Valen stood frozen as tactical officers rushed around him. The atmosphere had changed completely. The relaxed, coffee-drinking engineers were gone. In their place stood focused professionals moving with frightening efficiency. No panic. No confusion, just action. Marcus was already issuing orders. Activate Planetary Defense Network. Recall all deep space patrols. Launch fleet groups 1 through 8. The commands spread through the facility instantly. Across Earth, hidden military installations came alive. Massive doors opened beneath mountains. Ocean platforms rose from the depths. Orbital stations transformed into weapons platforms. Thousands of ships launched simultaneously. The scale was staggering. Valen watched the tactical display in disbelief. "You had all this hidden?" Marcus didn't look up. "We prefer being underestimated." The first reports began arriving. The enemy fleet had entered the outer Sol system and was advancing rapidly. They weren't broadcasting demands. They weren't opening communications. They were heading directly toward Earth, which meant only one thing. They already knew humanity existed. The giant display suddenly flickered. A transmission was forcing its way through every communication channel. An enormous figure appeared. Black armor covered its body. Glowing crimson eyes stared directly into the camera. The room became silent. The Void Dominion had called. "I am Supreme Commander Varker." His voice sounded like grinding metal. "We know who you are, humans." No one spoke. Varker continued. "For decades, you have hidden your strength." The aliens exchanged surprised looks. Decades? The Dominion knew about Earth far longer than anyone realized. "You have interfered with our expansion." The commander's eyes narrowed. "You have evacuated worlds beyond our reach." Another image appeared, destroyed refugee convoys, hidden evacuation routes, secret rescue operations. Humanity had been helping threatened civilizations in secret, for years, without recognition, without reward, without telling anyone. Valen looked at Marcus. "You've been fighting them already." Marcus nodded quietly. "For 17 years. The revelation hit like a shockwave. While the galaxy argued politics and trade agreements, humanity had been conducting a hidden war. A war nobody knew existed. Commander Varker continued. "Submit to the Dominion." "No," the answer came instantly. The entire room turned. Earth's representative had stepped forward, Admiral Sarah Hayes, commander of the Solar Defense Fleet. The human admiral stood calmly before the screen. "No conditions?" Varker asked. "No negotiations?" "No surrender?" Sarah shook her head. "Not today." The Void commander smiled. It was not a pleasant sight. "Then Earth will burn." The transmission ended. For several seconds, nobody moved. Then Sarah turned toward her officers. "Begin Phase 1." The room erupted into activity. On the tactical display, thousands of human warships accelerated toward the approaching enemy. Fleet after fleet emerged from hidden bases. The number kept climbing. 5,000, 7,000, 10,000, 15,000. Even Valan struggled to comprehend what he was seeing. Humanity possessed one of the largest fleets in the galaxy, and nobody knew. The two armadas finally met near the orbit of Jupiter. What followed was unlike anything in recorded history. Entire sections of space exploded with light. Energy weapons crossed millions of kilometers. Battleships vanished in seconds. Shockwaves rippled across space. The Void Dominion fought with brutal efficiency, but humanity fought differently. Human fleets protected each other, covered weaknesses, rescued damaged vessels. Every formation moved like part of a single organism. Hours passed. Losses mounted on both sides, yet despite their efforts, the Dominion kept advancing. Slowly, relentlessly, toward Earth. Finally, a report appeared on the main display. Silence spread through the command center. The numbers were devastating. Human fleets were losing, not because they lacked courage, not because they lacked technology. The enemy simply had too many ships. Admiral Hayes stared at the display. Then she gave an order that shocked everyone, including her own officers. "Activate beacon protocol." The room fell silent. One officer looked confused. "Ma'am, are you sure?" Hayes nodded. "Yes." The officer swallowed, then pressed the activation command. Deep beneath Earth, an ancient signal awakened. A signal that had never been used before. It launched into the galaxy. Far beyond coalition space, far beyond known borders, far beyond charted regions. A call, a message, a promise, and somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, something answered, something enormous, something that made even the Void Dominion afraid. For the first time in the battle, Commander Varker's face appeared on the tactical display. And for the first time, he looked terrified. For the first time in the battle, Commander Varker looked afraid. The image of the Dominion commander remained frozen on every screen in the Solar Defense Command Center. Around him, alarms continued to sound. Human fleets were still fighting. Ships were still dying. Entire sectors of space burned with the light of war. Yet Varker's attention was no longer on the battlefield. It was focused on the signal humanity had just transmitted. Beacon Protocol. Captain Valen turned toward Admiral Hayes. "What exactly did you call?" Hayes watched the tactical display, then she answered. "Friends." Moments later, long-range sensors erupted with alerts. One contact appeared, then 10, then hundreds, then thousands. The tactical map expanded automatically as more fleets emerged from hyperspace. Entire armadas were arriving from every direction. Unknown civilizations, unknown ship designs, unknown banners. The sensor officers could barely keep up. New fleets entering the system, additional contacts detected, more arriving. The room stared in disbelief. A transmission suddenly appeared. An insected queen filled the screen. "Humanity saved our world during the fall of Kareth. We answer the beacon." Another signal arrived. A reptilian admiral appeared. "Earth sheltered our people when no one else would." Another, and another, and another. The messages never stopped. For decades, humanity had quietly helped civilizations across the galaxy. Rescued refugees, evacuated colonies, shared technology, provided aid, never asking for territory, never demanding loyalty. Now every one of those species had come to repay the debt. Thousands of fleets joined the battle. The largest alliance in galactic history was forming in real time. Across the battlefield, Dominion ships suddenly found themselves surrounded. For a brief moment, hope returned. Then the newest tactical calculations arrived, and the command center fell silent. Even with the alliance, they were still losing. The Dominion numbers were simply too great. Commander Varker saw the calculations as well. His confidence returned. "You delayed the inevitable." The Allied fleets fought desperately, but kilometer by kilometer, the Dominion continued advancing toward Earth, toward humanity's home, toward victory. Admiral Hayes stared at the tactical map. Then she smiled, not because they were winning, because everything was proceeding exactly as planned. Authorize protocol homeworld. The room instantly became silent. Captain Valen noticed something strange. No one looked surprised. Several officers actually smiled, as though they had been waiting years to hear those words. "What is protocol homeworld?" Valen asked. Hayes looked toward Earth. "You'll see." The Dominion fleet crossed the final defensive perimeter. Planet-killer weapons powered up. Thousands of targeting systems locked onto Earth. Commander Varker smiled. "This ends now." Then the moon opened. The entire battlefield froze. Massive sections of the lunar surface split apart. Mountain-sized doors unfolded outward. Hidden shipyards emerged from beneath the crust. Thousands of warships launched simultaneously. The moon was not merely a moon, it was a fortress. Shockwaves spread across the battlefield. Before the enemy could react, Mars awakened. Gigantic cannons emerged from ancient valleys, weapons larger than cities. The first shot crossed space. A Dominion dreadnought disappeared instantly. Then another, then another. The asteroid belt activated next. Millions of ordinary rocks suddenly rearranged themselves. Hidden defense platforms emerged everywhere. Railguns, missile batteries, drone factories, automated war stations. The entire asteroid belt transformed into a gigantic weapons network. Dominion ships exploded by the hundreds. Commander Varker's smile vanished. "What is this?" No one answered, because humanity was still not finished. Jupiter's orbit erupted with light. Structures hidden for generations powered online. Colossal energy arrays larger than most cities. The weapons fired. Space itself seemed to shake. Entire Dominion formations vanished. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion stopped advancing. For the first time in centuries, they began retreating. Captain Valen stared in complete disbelief. "You turned your entire solar system into a fortress." Marcus calmly sipped his coffee. "We had some spare time." Valen blinked. "Spare time?" Marcus shrugged. "Humans need hobbies." Even in the middle of the largest battle in history, the humans somehow sounded completely serious. Then something unexpected happened. The Allied fleets charged. Not because they were ordered to, because they chose to, every civilization that humanity had helped join the final assault. Thousands of species, millions of ships, one purpose, one battle, one future. The Dominion line shattered. Fleet after fleet surrendered, others fled. The mighty empire that had terrorized entire galaxies was collapsing before everyone's eyes. At the center of it all remained one ship, Commander Varker's flagship, a fortress larger than a moon. The last symbol of Dominion power. Every weapon in the solar system locked onto it. Every allied fleet targeted it. Varker appeared on every channel, defeated, exhausted, broken. He looked directly at Admiral Hayes. "What are humans?" The room became silent. Hayes considered the question, then she answered. "We're the people who show up." Varker frowned. "You built all this for war?" Hayes slowly shook her head. "No." The tactical map zoomed outward. Earth. The moon fortress. The Martian defense grid. The asteroid arsenal. The Jovian bastions. The allied fleets. The rescued civilizations. The friendships. The alliances. The countless lives humanity had protected. We built it so nobody would ever stand alone. Varker stared at the display. Then realization finally struck him. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been their fleet. It had never been their technology. It had never been their defenses. It was trust, something the Dominion could never understand. Admiral Hayes looked directly into the camera, then delivered the words that would become legendary throughout the galaxy. "You thought Earth was our home?" The display expanded, showing the entire solar system, showing the alliance, showing humanity's true strength. Hayes smiled. "Earth is our capital." Moments later, the Dominion flagship powered down its weapons. The war was over. The galaxy was free. Weeks later, celebrations spread across thousands of worlds. The Beacon Alliance became the greatest cooperative civilization in history. Humanity was offered control. They declined. Instead, they helped rebuild, just as they always had. Captain Valen stood aboard the fully repaired and upgraded Silver Horizon, the ship that had arrived on Earth broken and dying, the ship that now represented a new future. In his hand was a cup of coffee, a drink he once feared. Now he couldn't imagine a voyage without it. Marcus stood beside him, watching the stars, watching a peaceful galaxy. Valen laughed softly. "We came to Earth for repairs." Marcus nodded. "That's true. You upgraded our ship." "Yep, you gave us coffee." "Definitely," Valen smiled. "And then you saved the galaxy." Marcus thought for a moment, then shrugged. "We had help." At that exact moment, a new distress signal appeared on the bridge. Unknown source, unknown location, unknown danger. The crew looked toward Marcus. The human engineer glanced at the signal, raised his coffee, and grinned. "Well, what now?" Valen asked. Marcus looked toward the endless stars, toward the next adventure, toward whoever might need help next. Then he answered with the words that would become famous across the entire Beacon Alliance. "Looks like somebody needs repairs." The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and together they jumped into the unknown.